God, I'm having flashbacks of fucking HGTV. Good stuff. So, guys, welcome back. This is another episode of Beers and Stories. Thanks for tuning in. This is my buddy Charles. Charles, tell everyone hello.
Hello, how's it going? Charles DeLong, residential real estate agent in Arizona.
Yeah, so I met Charles, God, when was this? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4?
15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah. So Charles was a guy who helped me get started with residential rentals here in Scottsdale. And when did I? It was those condos.
It was Scottsdale condos.
Yeah, man, that was a while back. So, because the first one we got was 147, I think, that little studio.
Yep.
Yeah. So Charles was the guy that I had contacted him to go look at this place. It was a little bitty studio condo, one of the first rentals I ever had. Like a good agent, he showed up all dressed up like this. I showed up looking like a derelict. The next time we met, he got the message, so we were both in flip-flops.
Yep, it's very true. Gotta know your customer.
Yeah, it's also very hot here in the summer. Yeah. So, but I've known Charles now for a while. You and your wife just had a baby. Congratulations, by the way. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I hope you get some sleep soon.
Yeah, it's not happening right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, give it time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have Charles on the show to kind of, get an idea. I mean, he's on the retail side. I have not done any agent work, and I'm really excited to hear kind of some of his stories and all that sort of thing. So man, how's the real estate market?
I mean, it's good, but it depends on who you ask, for sure, as always.
Yeah?
Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you renting? I mean, it all depends where you're at in it. I mean, if you're selling right now, it's a pretty good time. You got buyers pretty much bidding up every property.
Wow, so you're actually seeing pricing over asking.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
actually,
awesome.
And I've been taking a couple buyers around, and if it's priced right, I'm rushing home to write the contract just to get it in. And honestly, most times we don't get it in before the next offer comes in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Especially in Scottsdale. So.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to be here. It's a great place to live.
Yep.
So, good stuff.
Although Phoenix is getting that way too. A lot of jobs coming to there, and people seeing the value. You can still get in at a pretty decent price right now.
Okay.
But most of it's older homes, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, do some work to those.
Yeah, done a couple of those.
Yeah.
Have you seen, actually, so Charles sold my sister her house as well. She's a lawyer. She's a wonderful person. A little grumpy. I think it comes with the profession.
She was an angel.
Well,
hear that?
Well played. But yeah, the older homes in Phoenix typically take a little bit of fixing and love and all that stuff.
Yeah, so, definitely. So definitely needs some fix up on most of them, unless it's an investor, which there's a lot of those out there too, just buying them up cash, and that's a lot of what's forcing our market to get where it is.
Is that speculation?
What was that?
I know it's a dirty word these days, but so the guys, I guess what you're saying is, so the guys that have cash are coming in and renovate, they want to sell the full bore retail, all that stuff. So they're buying the old ones, fixing them up, and that's what's driving some of the pricing?
Correct, yeah. We're seeing like neighborhoods where you typically and historically, I mean, they're good neighborhoods, people would still buy in it, but it's not what the market's really looking for in those neighborhoods. It's pretty much neighborhoods where normally if somebody came to me and they're like, hey, I want this family home, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is your great neighborhood, bring them there.
Gotcha.
But now, since these investors are coming in and purchasing these properties and
the
trying to be HGTV, which
oh god, don't even get me started.
Everybody thinks they're a flipper now, but
I got a hammer and a checkbook, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So those knuckleheads don't help much.
Yeah, but the ones that do succeed and do the right upgrades, I should say, they are selling and kind of puts the market on a pedestal. Do I think it's going to make it crash? No, but does it push it up? Absolutely.
Sure. So how long have you been an agent?
License going into my 5th year.
5th year, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So still, I mean, not a vet by any means, but
you're not wet behind the ears anymore.
Yeah,
either.
no, not anymore. When I first met you, I was a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. It's fine. So we figured that part out. So, and I'm not super familiar with the agent stuff. So, You don't know. So I always love to ask everybody. So right when you first get going, right, you get your business cards, you get your thing. I've talked to quite a few people who are agents. You've got to have at least one or two good screw up stories from when you got started.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Hit me. I love these.
So let's start with my first open house.
This is gonna be good.
So first ever open house wasn't even my open house. As you know, my mom's an agent. She's been an agent for a while.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, so she decides to hand the reins to me this one time. It may have been my last
Janice,
time too.
Mistake.
So she's like, "Hey, you're a new agent. I think it's time to get your feet wet out there with your first open house."
Oh boy.
At this time, I'm living in a condo, and my computer is a laptop, and the printer's like on top of the laptop, and it's not an office by any means.
Sure.
It was the only bedroom in that condo too, so it's like a bedroom office.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm like, I got to print out these flyers, and I go to print them out, no ink, and I've got like 30 minutes before this open house is starting. My mom's texting me, "Hey, I put it up on Zillow. I put it up on MLS. You should have great traffic."
Shit.
You name it. So
and you're wrestling a $40 printer at your condo.
Exactly. So the tensions start there. So I run across the street to Office Max, get some ink, throw it in, get the flyers. I take off from the apartment complex, and it's nice out, luckily, but I'm an idiot and leave my windows open. So I start driving and take one left turn, and all the flyers go out the window. Yep. All over Hayden Road. Just everywhere. I literally had one flyer left. So, and nowadays that wouldn't be an issue because I've learned to study a home and know its in and outs for an open house.
Sure.
But that early on, I didn't think to read the MLS sheet and know what HOA is, the taxes, the bedrooms, everything about.
But now
the place.
Everyone on Hayden Road knows if they're picking up trash.
Now everybody knows that's taking that route to work. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So that's the start of it. Believe it or not, it doesn't end there.
Did you sell this place?
My mom did.
Okay.
I had nothing to do with selling that place. I'll tell you now. So, anyways, I get there again. I only have one flyer, so I'm literally, when people come in, I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you," blah blah blah, and I'm like literally reading the flyer like I'm like reading a script to like a movie or something.
Do you want to buy this house?
Yeah, and how many bedrooms is it? Oh, 3 and 2 bath, and looking up, keep eye contact. So that happened.
Sounds like your training paid off.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a nightmare.
That is fantastic.
Again, it did not end there. So after I wrap up and somehow survive this whole thing, I lose the key to the house. So.
Wait, the key out of the lockbox?
Yeah.
Oh god.
The only lockbox key I somehow lost. So I take out the bottom. I'm like, all right, let's go to put it back in. Usually I would put it in my front pocket, and it wasn't there. So for the next 2 hours, and I didn't want to call my mom about this.
Oh hell no.
I'm like, hey, I lost your only key pretty much to this listing. So I searched this house literally for 2 hours. No joke. God. Everywhere, every single drawer.
Where'd you find the key?
You name it. Most random spot. Master bathroom toiletry drawer. So
I feel like someone snuck in just to screw with you at that point.
Man, I swear they do. So
Mom sent her henchman in there. Like, no, let's give him a taste.
Yeah. So now moving forward, I will keep the key in one spot only. And if I'm wearing a suit, it's in the jacket. If I'm wearing jeans, it's in the coin pocket.
And that's it.
And I don't go anywhere else moving forward.
That lesson has been learned. Yeah. Oh my god.
So that's my first open house. Yeah.
Hopefully you've kind of gotten a system since then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like his picture, the flyers going out the window.
Yeah.
So funny story. The last guy I talked to on the show actually is a friend of mine, Dave. he tells a story where he actually went flying out of a car when he was younger. Yeah, it's on another one, but his parents had rental properties in Sunny Slope. Dave's a little bit older than we are, but this is back in the day, and he literally told the story about his dad taking a left turn to the hardware store. They were fixing a rental, and the door on the 1955 Chevy came open and just. And he goes, yeah, kids were a little bit more replaceable in those days. So, Dad watched me pop up and grab the door, and we just kind of eased into the hardware store.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it's good. The flyers you can replace. Children are slightly more difficult.
Yeah. So I hear, and I'm learning.
Yeah. No, you'll get that part for sure. Oh my
That's
God.
Funny. But yeah, I will say on the open house part, a pivotal point was that, and luckily it was early enough.
Sure.
But I pretty much did some soul searching. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have to treat this like a 9-to-5 job or even more.
Yeah, it's real deal.
Yeah. So now I still to this day I'll show up 45 minutes to an hour before an open house.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get there. I'll go around the neighborhood. I'll knock on doors, invite the neighbors. I'll set signs out all the way 3 streets up.
Yeah.
And I look at it as, and for all those new agents, definitely you should look at it as, that's your business for the day. That's like your shop front for the most part. Because, let's be honest, I've never, and my mom's even never, had a sale directly. Hey, somebody comes into open house and just buys it there.
Really? That's never happened?
No. So in a little secret of the trade, and probably shouldn't tell this to people listing their homes with agents, but
this is why we drink beers and tell stories.
Yeah, but full honesty is that open houses are mostly for that agent to get leads.
Really?
And obviously there's a point of it where it is exposure of the property, so that's always good. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not good for the seller. Mm-hmm. But if you ask any agent truthfully, the reason they're out there running that open house is to get buyers coming in.
Oh, really? So they're looking for other people that are in the market to buy a home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, think of it. It's honestly the best lead source there is. It doesn't cost much money. It's the cost of the flyers.
Sure.
Pretty much. And you literally have active buyers coming in to the house, and that they're looking to buy. So that beats any other email, cold call campaign.
Yeah, I would not have thought of that. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Don't send the hitman out to Charles. He has a new child, so that's we're spilling trade secrets over here.
You didn't hear that from me. Sorry to my fellow agents. Hopefully they still let you run open house.
Yeah, they'll be fine. So hopefully they remember where they put the keys. So
yeah.
Oh my God, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So, and then you specialize. We were talking a little bit earlier. You helped me get my first investment property.
Yeah.
I was actually talking in another video about you the other day when I was doing that. Remember the second condo, the short sale?
Yeah.
Where you talked me off the ledge, 3-4 times, being like, these guys.
That was a long transaction.
It was.
What was it, 5 months?
It was 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And as we know, I'm not the world's most patient person. No.
I would not call you that.
No, not at all.
No.
But I was talking to him about that and how long that took, and it seems like you do a lot with kind of the first time. This is my first real rental property that I was messing with, and you seem to do a lot of that stuff. You work with a lot of first-time buyers?
I do, yeah. And my business, when I first started, I sat down with a coach outside of my mom too, and he pretty much said, number one thing before you do anything, before you even get business cards, is find a niche.
Okay.
And that niche can be either your demographic of who you want to work with, like as far as first-time home buyer, luxury property investors, stuff like that. So I chose the first-time home buyer route because I do have a background in counseling and psychology and whatnot.
Sure.
So just naturally I was wanting to help people through the process.
Yeah,
and
so you've got experience with people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yes.
And kind of leading them through the woods, if you will.
I do.
Okay.
And you know this, but I'm into agent coaching and coaching as well.
Sure.
So I kind of put that into my clients too, and coaching them through what to expect, what happens with the process. Because, think of it, somebody coming in for their first time, they don't know anything about appraisals, inspections.
Sure.
What you can and can't do.
Yeah, I guess you and I don't think about that kind of stuff, right? Because I'm like, whatever, dude. Just, I mean, I think I've gotten DocuSigns that, you know, it's just a bunch of junk, right? Like, hey, we got to sign all this junk. Okay, fine, whatever. But we don't think about that stuff, you know. And you look at someone. I mean, I know, you know, that was my sister's first house. You sold her.
Yeah.
She's a lawyer, and she still was calling me and you and everything. You know, I'm glad you made some money on that because, you know, I just got phone calls and headaches. That's family.
Didn't you do the inspection too?
Oh,
for free?
She's still mad at me about that, actually. So
she said you could have found a couple more things in there.
So no, free inspections for family. It's a lousy business model. So
but no, it is true that I do enjoy that, and with you, it's actually funny on your story behind the scenes from I think what even you knew was I had just got, the day you called me, I had just got done showing around a buyer for, I think it was 5 hours. And you remember, it was summer. Yeah. So it was
hot.
It was a hard day, and I actually just sat down with my brother, and we were just about to have a beer and eat some dinner, and you called. And in my head, I was like, you know, and you even called me, you're like, hey, what's up, man? Can you let me in? I just want to look at this property. I'm like, oh man, do I really have to drive down to Old Town for this? But luckily I pushed through it, and actually when I got there, the feeling still stayed the same because you were in cut-off jeans and I think a lumberjack shirt, and I was like, here we go.
Yep, here we go again. Who is this guy?
But sure enough, it obviously turned out to one of the best relationships I've had in
for
real
sure.
estate, and it was amazing. You walked in and you probably spent 5 minutes in there, and you're like, let's write it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Definitely glad I came to this appointment.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I remember when I first got into this, you know, and it was, I'm sure you deal with some of this with your first-time buyers, you know, and now that I've been in the business for, you know, not quite as long as you, I've been in this 4 years now, like the lack of ability to make decisions, right? Like that's got to kill you because people they're like, well, I don't know what to do when I do this and I do that and da-da-da. But that's really, you know, when you talked about niches, I remember getting into this. It's like, all right, I know what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. So if it's cool, like, dude, let's go.
Yeah, go with your strengths for sure. Because there's, and out the gate, I wanted to get to where my mom was without obviously like putting in the work she did for the last 20 years. So I'm like, well, why can't I just come in and do luxury property with you? So he's like, no, you learn to walk.
Because you lose the key.
Yeah,
that's why.
Losing a key to a $3 million house would really not have been good.
Yeah. Well, Charles, because I was driving down Hayden and there's paper flying around everywhere, and I saw the listing.
Yeah, and when you get to that level, each one of those papers is like a binded flyer, so like $100 each out the window. So I wasn't ready for that.
Attention agents, there's $5,000 tumbling down Hayden Road right now.
Yeah, so ultimately do what you're good at. Stay there. Don't try to do too much. I know a lot of agents who I'll do property management, I'll do rental, I'll do listing, I'll do buying, I'll do luxury. And they just spread themselves too thin and they don't attack a certain niche enough to be relevant.
No, that makes a lot of sense actually. So what do you see a lot? You know, I've never worked, well, apart from family, the first time home buyer thing, it would drive me nuts. But what do you see a lot with these guys? I mean, what are they? I mean, one, clearly they all watch way too much HGTV. And that shit drives me nuts. You know, I can't stand it. But what do you see for, what are tripping points for these guys or girls?
Well, the big thing in the beginning is making them understand the loan process. That's always probably the most difficult part to get past. Again, the HGTV, they, like we were talking about, they see, hi, I'm a yoga instructor, nothing against yoga instructing, but I'm a yoga instructor, my budget's $1 million. You know, behind the scenes that's not the case. There's something else, some other stream of income going on.
Clearly.
But that's what they see in their head, and they see Zillow in their head too, that all these places, and this is the Zestimate of the place.
God, if I never see another Zestimate in my life, it will be too soon.
Yeah, in fact, a little, not secret, it's on their website, but if you actually go on the Zillow website, go to the bottom, there's a link that says About a Zestimate. Click on that link, it gives you the percentage of what Zestimates are correct or within the actual price that it sells.
Really? What is it?
It says you should give a 20%
20%
up or down of what it actually will sell for.
My God.
Yeah, in certain price points.
That's $100,000 or more.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it can be as high as 20, but if you look at the traditional part of it, it's anywhere from 5 to 10% off.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We actually used to, so I worked at that investment office for a while, and we had a big meme on the wall where they had the Zestimate for, this was the CEO of Zillow, okay? They had the Zestimate for his house on the wall, and they superimposed it over the sold price in Seattle, 40% off.
Whoa.
40%.
Wow.
This is the CEO of Zillow.
Wow.
The estimate for his house was 40% off. And people, because I remember being on the phones and people would tell me, oh, well, Zillow says my house.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Your phone get text messages? Click.
Yeah.
Take a peek at that. Look it up if you want.
Yeah.
But
so their algorithm actually goes off county data.
Okay.
And it doesn't look at the upgrades of the home.
Really?
It doesn't really look at market temperature for the most part of why that home sold that quick.
Sure.
Obviously, it's an algorithm.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. But the biggest part is that it's going off like just county records. Like this is the square footage, this is the bedrooms, and this is what it should sell for.
Raw calculations with no adjustments.
Yeah. No adjustments for if you have $20,000 floors all the way throughout.
And someone decided this was a good idea to just give to the public.
Yeah. Makes them
great.
feel comfortable. But yeah, so back to it. That's a struggle in the beginning.
Sure.
These people, this is what they see, again, getting them pre-qualified is always a surprise. It's
sure.
A lot of times it will work out, and they're like, okay, that's about what I thought I could afford. But a lot of other times, they're like, no, this income doesn't count. You deducted.
Like what kind of income wouldn't count for somebody?
Some self-employment income, and it's not that it wouldn't count. It's that what a lender will do is they'll take say you're commission based. Let's say this month you made $5,000, and the next month you made like nothing. Actually, what they do is they'll take your total commission on the year.
Yep.
And they'll split that up into 12 months, or they'll do 2 years and do 24 months. So if you had a killer month and you're like, oh, I'll just report the $7,000 that I made in commissions.
Right.
They're gonna say, no, those other 4 months you made nothing. So we're gonna average that out over the months.
So now all of a sudden you make $1,000 a month in the lender's eyes. Ooh.
Yeah. So that shoots people down a lot, and you got to talk them through that, and that can be tough. Telling somebody you can afford 400, or thinking they can afford 400, and then we're out looking at 300, 320.
Yeah, that's a big difference too. So the pre-qualification's super important. Yeah. And then, in terms of the actual homes, I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes, right? Like that's the beauty of the market. Yeah. Are you seeing people do people have, I remember from my limited experience with, helping my sister look for places, and, I think you showed my dad some houses and all this kind of stuff, is really just unrealistic expectations of what a home is going to be, right? And where, like, the work, like, I mean, they're total, these guys, they've never fixed a faucet in their life, and now all of a sudden they own 12. It's like, what do we do,
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. So, go for it.
No, I just said, it seems like it would be tougher to me to kind of educate. Hey, listen, you're buying a house, and that's cool. It's the American dream. Not everyone in the world should own a home, right?
Yeah. Oh, and
that's the big one.
Believe it or not, I have talked myself out of commissions because of that. Being real with somebody and saying, at this time, this market, where you're at with your job, you're not even sure if you're going to keep it. Let's rent for a while until you figure that out.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm glad I did, because those became long-term relationships, and they actually did end up buying and trusting me more than ever. Yeah. But it is true that does happen. But the biggest part on that is we have this instilled in our mind that if you're going to buy a home, it better be your dream home or your perfect home. And
off the bat.
Well, I wouldn't say dream and like your end goal home, but also almost like 80% of the time they're thinking they need everything checked off on their list to make it worth purchasing. Wow. And that type of mindset will keep somebody looking for months and months and months, until interest rates go through the roof and they can't even afford where they were at.
Sure.
in the
Yeah,
beginning.
it doesn't seem very realistic.
Yeah. So that's a big thing off the bat, expectations. I sit down with them, I see their checklist, and then I'll dissect that checklist and say, okay, these are obviously the things you'd love and you want all together in one perfect package. But what are the couple, 3, 4 things we can't live without?
Sure.
And we need in the home. And once we go through that, it gets a little bit easier for people to look at a home and be like, okay, I could change this, I could change that. Not the end of the world type of deal.
Man, being in coaching and counseling is perfect for you. Because you're basically, you have to handhold people all the time.
Yeah, it is true.
Oh my God.
I always say when you become an agent, you're not just selling homes. Although you can't advise them on it, they want your advice, and they want your tax advice, your real estate, of course, advice, your psychology of emotions, and
marriage counselor, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
it reminds me on a marriage thing. A story on that too. Which
no, go ahead. What
is, talk about
was
now?
it you and your wife trying to buy a place? She almost killed you?
No, that too.
Yeah? Was that super stressful?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I'll admit this. She's the one who found the home.
No kidding.
Swear to God. So I have.
You heard it here.
Yep.
Oh.
It's a big shout out to you, Kimberly. So yeah, she actually found it. I had a subscription, McDowell Mountains where we live, and it was obviously a normal subscription, price point, beds, baths, and she decided, I think, to look a little bit out of the range by like a couple $1,000.
Oh really? So not much.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, I don't know if this one will work or not, but let's take a look at it.
No kidding.
And we looked at it, and like right away I called the lender.
Just whack.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So she actually found it, believe it or not. So I'll give her credit.
Go Kim.
Credit for that. But yeah,
man.
So married couple. So first and last time I made this mistake. So there was a client. This was actually one of the most devastating deals I've lost in all of real estate of my career. So
that's quite a title.
Yeah, I know. So I had a client who actually I went to high school with, and we looked around, I'd probably say for 5 months. And we're talking not just like 5 months here and there, we're talking like every other weekend.
5 months of looking for a place.
Yeah, we were looking anywhere from 5 to 6 homes a weekend. Yeah, for a long time. They have not been 5 total, but it was a while.
Sure. Why'd you have to look at so many?
Again, back to that, thinking
it's gotta be my dream home thing.
All that. Although they were between a point where they were like, I don't know if I'm quite ready to pull the trigger, but I want to see what's out there. And I respected that. And
sure,
they brought it along to where they're like, all right, we're buying soon, so don't think you're wasting your time.
Sure.
Well, I had never actually met the wife. I knew of her, but I never really met her. She never came on any tours with me. I know, so that was a little. I should have early on.
Yeah, that's a little shaky right there.
I should have. Looking back, I should have asked what's happening. So it turns out, as we're going to look at these properties, she's looking at properties on her own with her best friend, or it may even be a family member who's an agent.
Oh shit.
And so I don't know if this is what they meant to do or not, but they were both kind of splitting it up. She was looking in an area, he was looking in an area.
Really?
So it turns out, weird. I know. So it turns out we find a place, and I'm like, all right. And again, go back. We're in the 650 range, 700.
Oh wow.
So it wasn't any
this is not a shack on a beach.
Yeah. So so it was a decent commission to be earned for sure. And it came down to, I'm like, okay, so let's write it up. You got the lender in place, right? You got the pre-qual, he sent it over. Next day, I'm like, hey, why didn't you sign the docs? And so he calls me. I get a phone call from him. Like, that's never good.
No.
Waiting for signatures to come back, and you see
and the phone rings. It's like, oh boy.
So it turns out that his wife had a exclusive buyer agreement with that agent friend, sister, whoever it was, family member. And
so no matter what, they could reach in your pocket.
Not only that, I couldn't, if they wanted to go with her, I could have argued procuring cause to that home because I showed it. But actually, we never got to the showing. It was like one of those situations where it's like, I know this is great. We've looked in this neighborhood forever.
Sure, just write it up.
So really, it was just I sent him an MLS of it. So I had really no basis on that. And two, she literally had an exclusive buyer agreement. So the only way around that would be he bought it as a sole individual,
and of course
outside of the
won't
marriage,
work.
And the loan wouldn't have worked. And in Arizona, it's community property. So yeah, that's the story of me spending 5 to 6 months on
of getting. God.
Yeah.
Man, I can't thank you enough for being here. That was incredible. We got to do this again.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think this is gonna have to be a repeat episode. But
I appreciate you having me out. Obviously,
hey, anytime. When's your next open house?
Yeah, actually this Sunday. Come to it.
Good. I'll eat a bunch of fiber and stop on by. No.
You would do that.
Oh
to me.
my God.
I don't even know if water's on either, so that
perfect.
may be better for you.
Hey Charles, what's going on? No.
So yeah, stop by. But again, I appreciate you having me out.
Hey, anytime. Sorry it's so hot out here. We're both starting to sweat like banshees, so all good.
Arizona, man.
Thank you guys for watching. Again, Charles DeLong, awesome guy. If you need a house in Arizona, do not call me, call him. I do not want to sell you a house or explain to you how it works. But thank you again. Stay tuned. Another episode coming up here one of these days, and we can find our next victim. Until then, be good.
Later.